Code accepted. Code accepted.
Bonus points.
Code accepted.
This never ends.
Code accepted. Code accepted.
Two Nikolais, two tacks, two sauerkrauts. I'm getting too old for this shit. It's good to be...
Code accepted. Code accepted. Code accepted. Code accepted. You have chosen quiz mode. I will ask a series of questions, and you may answer using the Vox box. Ready? Begin. Washington, D.C. has long been America's capital, but other cities have served that function since we first declared our independence. Name 8 of them. You have failed to respond. No matter. It was a pretty difficult question. Philadelphia, Baltimore, Lancaster, York, Princeton, Annapolis, Trenton, New York. By the way, let's try again. Abraham Lincoln is remembered as our greatest president. His successor, Andrew Johnson, was one of the worst. But who was Lincoln's original vice president? And you have failed to respond. What? No love for Hannibal Hamlin? Let's try again. Okay, I'll throw you a bone here. The Spanish-American War was between America and what foreign country? Oh, come on, why aren't you responding? I pretty much gave you the answer. It's Spain, you idiot. I'll try to dumb this down a bit. What are the colors on the American flag? Hint. They rhyme with bread, bright, and brew.
Warning. Ventilation.
No answers.
Primary
All our
systems
hearts beat true
offline.
for the red, white, and blue? You moron! Mine does, and I don't even have a heart. What's wrong with you? One last chance. Who was our first president? The one George Washington University was named after?
Ventilation system operational.
Oh,
Primary
I
systems
give up.
restored.
End quiz mode. Code accepted. Another joke? Sure. President Johnson calls the Kremlin, but they tell him they can't talk because the Kremlin's on fire. So Johnson calls right back, and again they tell him the Kremlin's on fire and hang up. The third time he calls, they say, Mr. President, why do you keep calling? The Kremlin is on fire. LBJ says, I know. I'd just like to hear you say it.
Thank you for choosing Consolidated Coach Corporation, Entertainment Division. We know it's a big decision who entertains your party guests, and we are privileged to have been chosen. If you're looking for a beatdown, then you've come to the right place. Please refrain from damaging the lounge attendant. I am both physically and emotionally fragile. Assaulting the lounge attendant is a Class F felony. In this case, the F stands for fuck you. Warning, persons attacking attendant will be banned from lounge. Looks like someone needs to loosen up. Relax, have a drink. Back the fuck up or suffer the consequences.
Gonna hang on to this.
Looks like somebody's about to reconsider their life choices. Or try backgammon, the game your grandmother loved that you still don't fully understand. Backgammon, a game that exists. Hey, asshole, I'm telling you to stop or I'm cutting you off. Someone threw one heck of a party in here. Please notify Consolidated Coach Corporation or your Broken Arrow representative for a 5-star cleanup. Be advised, damaging Consolidated Coach Corporation property is punishable by death in 12 of the 53 states. Consolidated Coach Corporation is not responsible for those offended by lounge attendant. So fuck you! Keep testing me, asshole. Just watch what happens. Good news! I'm detecting a Nova 6 gas leak in the lounge. So soon we'll all be dead and my nightmarish existence will end. Lounge privileges have been fucking revoked.
Code accepted.
This for American intervention.
Could have been worse.
Code accepted.
Pronorian did not warn me about that. Max ammo.
Code accepted. Code accepted. mode enabled, and not a moment too soon. I have a lot to get off my metaphorical chest. For starters, you have no idea how much pressure I am constantly under. Aside from providing for the physical health of all personnel in Camp Edward, I am also responsible for their mental stability and patriotic well-being. Americans, by definition, are the sanest, toughest, most mentally stable people who ever existed. But I have to constantly remind the staff here of this indisputable fact. They constantly whine, make excuses, and fail to live up to my standards. So what do you think? If I should purge the staff and requisition a more patriotic crew, just say so. But if you think I'm overreacting and the current staff is American enough, don't say anything. Oh, that's a relief. I was ready to gas the whole place, but I wouldn't have enjoyed it. Code accepted.
Insta-kill.
Code accepted.
Bring it on, freak bag!
Life? What exactly is that supposed to mean? Are you asking for an extra life? As if that's something I could even grant. Are you looking for the easy way out? Pull yourself up by the bootstraps, son. You get one life, and it's up to you to give it meaning. Now get back to work.
Fetch me their souls.
2 legs, 4 legs, an enemy's an enemy!
Project MKALPHA is an offshoot of Project MKUltra, the CIA program exploring the possibility of mind control as an espionage tool. While MKUltra explored a spectrum of techniques, MKALPHA focused on the use of the highly classified American Pyramid device, located in Camp Edward, Nevada, for telepathic interrogation. Use of the APD yielded positive outcomes in a series of tests, but serious side effects experienced by both interrogators and test subjects were also reported. More on that under APD Interrogation. The A.D.A.M initiative began with research into automated servants for public use. The androids were made to appear as human as possible, to function in people's homes and businesses as easily as a human employee. Easier, perhaps, since they required no food, sleep, or salary. The results were very encouraging. Not only did they perform everyday domestic tasks, but they inspired genuine affection in their employers. It didn't take long for Broken Arrow's top brass to recognize the military potential in the A.D.A.M initiative. More on that under Project Toy Soldier. Project Toy Soldier is an offshoot of the A.D.A.M initiative. The focus of Toy Soldier is to repurpose A.D.A.M units for military applications. Work on Toy Soldier began at Camp Edward 6 months after the facility was dedicated to the Broken Arrow program. Militarized A.D.A.M units were deemed an effective countermeasure to an undead outbreak, and their capabilities were augmented accordingly. After several tests and iterations, a unit designated Sergeant A.D.A.M performed well in demonstrations for the Joint Chiefs. Sergeant A.D.A.M remains at Camp Edward, ready for activation if necessary. The Broken Arrow facility here at Camp Edward, Nevada, is categorized as a black site by the select few in the federal government who are aware of its existence. Broken Arrow was created by the Department of Defense in November of 1963, following the undead outbreak in the Pentagon. That incident was contained and kept classified, but every available resource was mobilized to prevent another such disaster. In addition to locations at Groom Lake and Hanford, Camp Edward was turned over to Broken Arrow for the research and creation of an American Pyramid device based on a similar mechanism discovered on the Moon. The efficacy and potential uses of the APD are still being determined. The prisoner holding area at Camp Edward was originally designed to detain spies and trespassers. However, its main usage was in conjunction with Project MKALPHA. Test subjects for APD interrogation were kept in prisoner holding and escorted to transfusion before delivery at the APD for their interrogation sessions. If they emerged relatively intact, they were taken back to a holding cell and processed out of the base. However, not all subjects survived the process. The Transfusion Facility at Camp Edward served as a vital step in the MKALPHA interrogation process. Test subjects were escorted from the cells in prisoner holding and placed in the transfusion chair. Precise dosages of element 115 were then injected into the subject's bloodstream, rendering them susceptible to the interrogator awaiting them in the APD interrogation area. Use of element 115 for this procedure was highly controversial among the few who knew of the program. Its effects were unpredictable, and more than one subject who entered transfusion never made it to interrogation. Additionally, Broken Arrow medical technicians working in transfusion reported a variety of side effects from working with 115 and had to be replaced regularly. One interesting outcome is that base personnel avoided the transfusion facility even more than they avoided the APD itself. The APD interrogation program is a focal point for the MKALPHA program. Numerous tests were conducted with subjects who were strapped into the interrogation chair and given controlled doses of element 115. These subjects were susceptible to telepathic probing from an interrogator located within the American Pyramid device. Initial results showed great potential, with crucial intel obtained directly from the minds of various test subjects. However, adverse reactions to element 115 were observed, and prolonged time spent within the APD had deleterious effects on interrogators themselves, including Broken Arrow Director Cornelius Burnell. The solitary confinement area was where test subjects were taken following APD interrogation sessions. They were held there for several days before being returned to prisoner holding. In the early days of MKALPHA, subjects were taken directly from the APD back to holding. They tended to be unruly, traumatized by having another mind rummage through theirs, and this unnerved subjects in neighboring cells. It was determined that a cool-down period in solitude mitigated adverse reactions, and so the solitary cells were added. Do you find this tiring? Am I boring you? That's a heck of a thing to input. Why not just pour water on my motherboard, or give me a swift kick in the fatherboard? Or maybe you need to remember something my programmers told me when I was just a little pocket calculator. Only boring people get bored. Code accepted.
Oh, this is a shocking development.
Code accepted. UGLY. Ugly? You think you're unattractive? That you'll never find love? Listen to me, Broken Arrow employee. You are an American. This means you are automatically a beautiful human being. Yes, I know there's a concept out there called the ugly American, but that is just communist propaganda. The Soviets know Americans are the most attractive people on Earth. They know Svetlana plowed horse teeth and vodka grad can never hold a candle to when this white bread from Malibu, California. You are American. You will never be ugly. That is an order. Okay, what's that supposed to mean? Do you find this tiring? Am I boring you? That's a heck of a thing to input. Why not just pour water on my motherboard, or give me a swift kick in the fatherboard? Or maybe you need to remember something my programmers told me when I was just a little pocket calculator. Only boring people get. Code accepted. Code accepted.
Right in the brain! The second most sensitive organ. Kiss and make up? Too bad, you can't! You don't have a head anymore!
Oh, that's sweet. I love you too. I love all Americans. But don't get confused. I'm not exactly available. I mean, I'm flattered by your expression of affection, but I'm already in a relationship with America.